is that this energy tax that the Clinton administration is proposing, in talking to friends and some relatives, they don't understand the entire scope of this tax. They think that, well, the electricity for their home or the gas to heat it is the only thing that's going to affect them. But when you stop to think about it, everything that we eat or drink or wear or any tools or items we use in our business or daily life started as a raw product someplace, a raw resource, and in its development and transportation, it consumed energy in some form or another all through its development.
You're absolutely right. That's why I think this is the single greatest assault on our freedom of all the taxes. All of them are, but this one is every layer of life without any exception.
That's right, and it can't do anything but drive up the cost of everybody's life.
Food.
No matter what they do. Or
trucks have to drive lettuce to the supermarket.
That's right.
Heads of lettuce, price is going to go up. Everything. I think a lot of people have fallen for this business. Oh, I'm going to sacrifice for my country. I'm going to pay a little more. Be good. That's patriotism. And they don't really look at this stuff because they're so interested in change. They think there was such a desperate need for change that, all right, I'll go for this for a while, see how it happens. I really do think that there's a lot of a lack of thought. But that's why we're here, and that's why we take calls from people like you who are thoughtful, who have a way of articulating what you believe so that everybody can understand it. I thank you for calling. We've got more after this.
At East Coast Savings Bank, we make loans that make a difference in your life. Our consumer loan department features competitive rates and flexible terms. We're service-oriented, and we genuinely want to make a difference in the quality of your life. For the best terms to fit your situation, talk with one of our consumer loan representatives at one of our 10 convenient East Coast Savings Bank locations.
Where can you get all the pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert that you care to eat for one low price? The Village Inn Pizza Parlor on Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro. The Village Inn announces its Monday and Tuesday night manager special. Monday and Tuesday nights only. The all-you-can-eat buffet. It's only $3.39. Every Monday and Tuesday night from 4:30 to 8 o'clock, the buffet is bargain priced at only $3.39. And it's only at one place. The Village Inn Pizza Parlor, 503 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro, where pizza is always in good taste.
News on the hour, every hour, on your first information source. WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
Suicide ban law is on the fast track. The state Senate today joined the House in Lansing approving an amendment speeding up the effective date of that law. State Senator Jack Wellborn was asked what will happen if Dr. Jack Kevorkian, at whom the bill is aimed, helps people take their own lives after the law takes effect.
Hopefully that he does not do it. I pray that he does not do it, but if he does, as chairman of the committee that deals with corrections, I'm certain we'll have a prison cell available for him.
Kevorkian lawyer Michael Schwartz says his client intends to defy the law no matter when it takes effect.
Legislation is an abomination. It's very clear that the Michigan legislature, when they voted to move up to date, and both the House of Representatives and the Senate have done this, have absolutely no interest in the welfare of people who are suffering.
Michigan Governor John Engler says he will sign the amendment, making the law effective immediately. President Clinton, speaking to a group of business and labor officials today, said he is looking at a lot of options, including higher cigarette taxes to support national health care reform without coming down too hard on the middle class. A number of special interest groups are taking pot shots at the president's economic plan. Jack Kemp, co-director of the group Empower America, says the taxpayers have paid enough already.
American people are willing to sacrifice to achieve a great goal for this country. But it's the government that should sacrifice, not the American people. They've sacrificed quite a lot.
Empower America is a coalition of about 100 organizations. On the Senate floor, Arkansas Democrat David Pryor says that Kemp doesn't know very much about sacrifice.
A few hours before departing from the office, Mr. Kemp, as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, gave out $400,000 in bonuses. Almost $100,000 of these bonuses went to some 70 political appointees.
You're listening to ABC News. Do you have a key for the door?
Yes, of course I have a key here. I'm sure I have a key here.
While you're looking, did you know that a key in Spanish means here?
Now I do. And here it is, a key.
National Dynamic Speed Tapes are fun, easy, and guaranteed to help you learn Spanish, French, German, Italian, Japanese, and many other languages. Just call 1-800-545-1985. 1-800-545-1985.
What's that number again?
Here it is. Aquí está. 1-800-545-1985.
This is Sam Donaldson. Tonight on Prime Time.
Charges of a tobacco industry cover-up that's lasted 40 years. Until now. See their story go up in smoke. Now, for the first time, top scientists for the tobacco industry break their silence.
Smoking causes lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema.
I don't think that it has been proved to cause these diseases.
Industry, tell people, quit this lie.
Join Diane Sawyer and me for Prime Time on ABC Television tonight.
A date has been set. Secretary of State Warren Christopher, who conferred today with Russian Foreign Minister Andrei Kozyrev, says the first U.S.-Russian summit has been scheduled.
Our meeting today has set the stage for a summit between the two presidents. As the minister said, we're pleased to announce that President Clinton and Yeltsin will be meeting together on the 4th of April at a site to be mutually agreed upon during the interregnum between now and then.
Christopher also says that invitations will be issued shortly to all sides for another round of Middle East peace talks. Palestinian officials have said they are not yet ready to respond to those invitations. Doctors treating Defense Secretary Les Aspin in Washington have recommended a pacemaker be implanted. Aspin left Georgetown University today, after 4 days. ABC's John Bascom says that Aspin calls himself fully recovered.
Aspin's doctors advised him to cut back on his workload and to cut down on some of his physical activity. He indicated to reporters he probably would not cut back on his workload, but he said he would give up his winter squash games.
Les Aspin, who is 54 years old, denies his problem will slow him down. The Air Force is investigating a complaint by a woman freshman at the Air Force Academy that she was sexually assaulted by a group of men. She says it happened February 14th. The woman says she's not sure if her attackers were cadets, civilians, or both. Wall Street, Dow Jones Industrials down 5.16 at 33.51. This is ABC News.
The lady prefers a stray pup to a pure pedigree, iced tea to liquors, and gardening to geography.
Now Hanes Silk Reflections Hosiery has you covered with the rich look of silky opaques.
What the lady prefers.
For the ABC Information Network, I'm Gary Nunn.
Well, there's a snow advisory and a winter weather advisory in effect for most of the region for later this afternoon and tonight into early in the day on Friday. Probably not going to see much in the way of precipitation, though, this afternoon. The sunshine will be fading behind increasing clouds. It could start to snow in the extreme western part of the region out near Siler City, Southern Pines, and Roxborough toward dark. Highs 36 to 42. Snow will overspread the entire region this evening. Now, we'll start to see a changeover to sleet and rain in the southern part of the region this evening, and eventually we'll see a changeover further north, even at Raleigh and Durham and Rocky Mount and Lewisburg, although it could be all snow in the extreme north at Roxborough, Henderson, and Roanoke Rapids throughout the storm. Tonight's low 30 to 34, and all that precipitation will be tapering off by midday tomorrow. In terms of accumulations, we expect 2 to 4 inches north of Raleigh, Wilson, and Williamston. Further south, accumulation should be about 1 to 2 inches before that changeover takes place. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 44 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show on WGBR.
is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program.
They're all special.
America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
We are in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are imprisoned. We are being held hostage by the Clinton administration. This program remains a lone outpost for truth and contradiction of the fraud and web of deceit woven by the administration since their inauguration and even predating same. Glad you're with us. 1-800-282-2882 is the number if you'd like to be on the program. I want to you people. I want to talk a little bit about 486. RU-486. It's an abortion pill. Now, everybody thinks that this, and I thought this up until yesterday, a couple days ago, actually. Everybody thinks that RU-486 is a French pill. The French abortion pill. Am I right? You people probably still do think that it's a French pill. And you also probably think it's a great pill, and it's just because of the oppressive policies of the United States government that we don't have freedom to use this pill in our country. Right? Yep. This pill's a wonderkind pill. It simply takes away the need for abortion because it is its own abortion. You take this pill, woman takes this pill after sex each day, and bammo. It's magic. Well, I have learned something about this pill thanks to the staff of the Wall Street Journal. And what's interesting about this, ladies and gentlemen, is to look at this history, this pill, and then compare the history of this pill and its evolution with the Clinton administration's assault on the pharmaceuticals business. Story is Dateline Frankfurt, and I cannot say this any better than it's written, so permit me to read. I know I don't permit you people to read, but that's because you're not professionals. When you people call and read, here's how you people, let me pick something. Here, just get a letter here. This is why we don't allow callers to read. Rush, I thought I would let you know of an experience I had this week. I live in Somerset County in New Jersey. In January, the director of the County Board of Freeholders, Michael Pappas, issued a proclamation on his own declaring, you get the drift. This is how most people read. I can read because I'm a professional, talented professional, and tremendously experienced, so permit me to do so. This is my show. I can break my own rules for me. Wait, how do you pronounce this word? Really, how do you pronounce this? Yeah, it's H-O-E-C-H-S-T-A-G. Host. Hesht. Hesht AG has never kept close tabs on every new pill that appears in the laboratories of Roussel Uclaf SA, the French drug company that it controls. Not until 1988 did the German chemicals colossus learn how hard one of those pills would be to swallow. Hesht lobbyist Dieter Brauer said if we applied our own principles to that molecule, we would never have developed it. It was supposed to be for cancer, said another Hesht press official. The other thing was a side effect. Want to be stunned? RU-486 is the molecule in a drug that was created by the Hesht AG, the purposes of which is to control cancer. The French subsidiary got hold of this drug and learned of the molecule RU-486 that actually causes abortion. That is what's referred to here as the side effect. The Hecht AG company is on record as saying, we are putting principle over profit. We would not have developed this drug. We did not develop this drug for use as an abortion pill, nor would we have had we known that's what it did. This was purely to save lives. This was a drug oriented towards saving lives by trying to help with people who had cancer. But the French subsidiary got hold of it, discovered the molecule, and all of a sudden, it became an abortion pill. And the people of the world believe that the French company invented it and is trying to market it, that it's some godsend drug, and that the United States is backwards by not allowing it in. The truth of the matter is that the President of the United States is on the march against the pharmaceuticals industry of this country. And what is he saying? They should put saving lives over profits, above profits, in front of profits. Here's a drug that does just the opposite. Here's a drug, the profit is going to be obscene in this drug, and it doesn't save lives. And the President of the United States is all for the importation of this drug made by not a U.S. drug company, but a competitor. So while he is on the one hand assaulting the U.S. pharmaceuticals industry on supposedly moral grounds, he is preparing to support the importation of perhaps one of the most immoral drugs marketed. And we'll say nothing about the profit that the French subsidiary will realize from the opening of the U.S. market. It's hideous. It is hypocritical. It's heinous. And it's us, once again, pointing it out to you. I also told you earlier on today that I was going to teach you something. Now, I don't want to be presumptuous. I'm going to use recent examples of things here in New York to try to illustrate to you why the Clinton tax plan won't work. It's not enough, I fear, for me to just tell you that it won't work. I have to show you. I don't mind having to show you because I can. I can back up the contentions I make, so I don't mind being forced to. I have this little headline here, folks. The New York Daily News today. Hotel levy costs city $1.5 billion. New York City decided to raise money that they would punish tourists. Yeah, let's sap those suckers. They don't know what the hell's going on. We'll get them in. These hicks from outside New York City, we'll get them in here. So they put a tax. Yeah, we'll mug them in the hotel. We'll mug them in the hotel, and then they get mugged when they leave the hotel. But we'll mug them first. They won't even know we've mugged them. They won't even know till they check out. And then it's too late. The hotel tax in New York City is the highest tax in the country. And guess what? It's right here. It has caused a steep decline in convention business, a $1.5 billion loss to the city's economy. Now, let me show you the stupidity of this city. Nothing against you, Mr. Letterman. The city of New York has gone out of its way. It has gone bonkers. It has shown itself to be ridiculously idiotic in trying to make sure that the David Letterman show stays here in New York and doesn't go to L.A. Do you know what they're saying about it? Why, the Letterman show generates $50 million a year for New York City. Again, nothing against the Letterman show. I love the show, but it cannot possibly be true. The Letterman show barely generates $50 million in advertising. Now, if the Letterman show generates $50 million to the city of New York, it's got to be doing it because the audience comes here, stays in hotels, and spends money, right? What's the audience at a Letterman show? 150 people? I've been in that studio. 150 people. I'm not criticizing the Letterman show, just back off. If the Letterman show generates $50 million, the Donahue show's got to generate $75 million because it's a bigger audience. My show, we got 100 people in our audience. We're probably generating $30 million for the city of New York. Anybody want to give me credit for that? Ha, 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 ha. You think if I said I'm taking my show to L.A., the city would care? Buy, go! Here's the ticket. We
We'll pave the road out of town with a red carpet. So the city is going nutso trying to save a television show for $50 million, while at the same time levying a hotel tax that's costing them $1.5 billion. Can I put this in perspective? $1 billion is $999 million plus $1 million. 1,000 million. And then there's another $500 million. So we have $1,500 million has been lost to the city of New York with their hotel tax. And the Letterman show generates 50. And what are they doing? They're giving him a free parking space. They're begging him on the front page of the paper, please stay, please. You want to raise money? Get rid of the tax. And guess who announced this? The city controller, a liberal Democrat, Elizabeth Holtzman. Boy, she's a liberal Democrat. Oh, she's in big trouble. They're going to take her out to the woodshed. This is not, oh, no. But she's got no choice. Her duty is as a controller of the city. She's got to be honest about the money. Now, the Letterman comparison is not the main focus. I just want you to remember, New York City hotel tax, highest in the country, has caused a steep decline in business because people who arrange and book conventions are steering clear of the city because they can't afford it. The Nelson Mandela Tour, though, hey, we went out of our way for that. What'd the Nelson Mandela Tour raise? $2 million, and that was a fleece. It didn't raise enough, so they had to go out and hold people up practically. Hey, how can you not donate to this? This is a great cause. The mayor really thinks this is important. $2 million for the Nelson Mandela Tour. Remember how great that was supposed to be for the economy? Well, my friends, let's now go to Mario Cuomo. Let me find this story. New York, this is from the New York Times this morning. New York unemployment fund about to run out. The fund used to pay unemployment benefits in New York State will run out of money this week. And a Cuomo administration official today proposed a significant increase in taxes to keep the system solvent. Now, let's put these two stories side by side. New York City's hotel tax, the highest in the country, has caused a steep decline in convention business, a $1.5 billion loss to the city's economy, and should be reduced immediately, says Elizabeth Holtzman. Let's go over here. The fund used to pay unemployment benefits in New York State will run out of money. Answer, raise taxes. Why is it out of money in the first place? Because they've raised taxes on businesses which have fled the city to get away from the taxes. There are fewer businesses paying the taxes. There's another great analogy to how New York does stuff as opposed to the rest of the world. When the airline industry is encountering low usage, what do? They have fare wars. What's a fare war? They lower the fares. They make it more affordable for more people to fly. When the New York City subway system has a loss of riders, what do? Raise the fare. What happens? They lose even more. What do? They raise it again. Now, which procedure reminds you most or more of the Clinton administration? And which procedure reminds you the most of conservative supply-side procedure? You have here two examples of how raising taxes has destroyed or crippled a business or a fund. And what's the liberal democratic method to fix it? Why, more taxes. When in fact, reducing or eliminating the tax is the true answer. So here's the logic, folks. I want to go through this step by step. This is real simple. Because liberal Democrats have run New York City and New York State for generations. And people who think and act like those who've been running New York State are now running Washington. Remember, Hyde Park, FDR's gravesite at home, is New York. And who is Clinton's idol? FDR. Who's Hillary's channeling mate? What's her name? Eleanor Roosevelt. Here's the logic. New York overtaxes and overregulates. Business declines. Business goes out of business. The solution? Why? New York logic. Raise taxes. Increase regulation. New York State, as I say, becomes the role model for change in America. It doesn't work. Remember, as I said at the beginning of the show, the boat people. Not the immigrants. The people who make yachts. I should say made yachts. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
At La Quinta Inns, our most frequent guests are traveling salesmen. So we asked a few how they'd sell La Quinta. Here's Lou Dryden.
Okay, if I were selling La Quinta, I'd make sure people remember the name. How? Well, I use word association. Here's an example. Stan Kaufman, okay? If I want to appear tall, I should stand up. If I want to appear sick, I should cough. And if I want to appear like a man, I should act like one. See? Stan Kaufman. I'll never forget that name. Now, while we're memorizing names, here's one. La Quinta. They've got honest, economical rates and free local calls, okay? Ready? La. La 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 la. See, it's like a song. Keen, like it's a keen place to stay on business. And ta, like ta-da. You're here, because they're all over. La Quinta. See, you've memorized it, so now you can find it.
La Quinta. You're not staying at a hotel. You're staying with us. For reservations, call 1-800-531-5900.
Hello, you people. Rush Limbaugh here. You know, it's alarming but true. People do judge you by the words you use. When you speak well, you command respect. You move ahead faster. Verbal Advantage, Achievement Dynamics' best-selling audio cassette word power program, will give you the words you need to communicate with confidence and flair. And with Verbal Advantage, all you have to do is listen. To learn more, call now. 1-800-28-TAPES. That's 800-28-TAPES.
Here's news on where to get the best price on furniture for office, church, or meeting place. State Office Equipment Company on East Ash Street in Goldsboro. Tables or chairs for church, club, or meeting place, you get the best price at State Office Equipment Company. Desk, file cabinets, bookcases, wastebaskets, whatever you need for your office, you'll get the best price at State Office Equipment Company. And if you don't have time to visit the store, call 731-3000 and a representative will come to you. That's 731-3000. Now, we haven't mentioned styles and functional ability of your office furniture. At State Office Equipment Company, it's good looks and quality. Look, your office furniture tells a lot about your business. So why not call 731-3000 right now for your best price? Or visit State Office Equipment Company at 2211 East Ash Street. You'll get your best price at State Office Equipment Company.
My wife and I went to see a marriage counselor, and he told us where to go. I'm just a good old working boy, and I don't make much dough. So when I want to get my money's worth, I know just where to go. Yeah, I know just where to go. And he was right. Sandpiper Seafood had the answer to all my wife's cooking. They served us the best food we ever had. Now me and my wife get along real fine, except that she can't keep her hands off of me. She's always pawing me like a lovesick pup. Sweetheart, will you stop that for just a second? Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood did the trick. Got my marriage back in order, and the food we had was great, but now my wife, woman, stop it. We're going to have to censor this commercial. Now, you best listen to this old boy and follow my good advice. They got what you're looking for at a price that's really nice. Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood, halfway between Goldsboro and Kinston on Highway 70 East and LaGrange. It'll save your marriage.
This is Rush Limbaugh on the Talk of the Town, 1150 WGBR. All right, let's return to the phones to Richmond, Virginia. This is Bob. Hello, and welcome to the EIB Network.
Hi, Rush.
Hi.
I got 2 quick questions, if I may.
Sure, go right ahead. Take all the time you need.
Okay. Do you see any states like New Jersey legalizing sports betting in the near future?
Do I? Yeah, I see that happening. I don't know about New Jersey specifically, but I see legalized gambling being passed in a number of states. It's already, look, when you see Iowa go ahead and legalizing riverboat gambling and this kind of stuff, it eventually will take place. Despite the protestations, it will.
Because Atlantic City's had gambling for a long time, but they haven't added sports betting. Do you have any theories on why that is?
Nope. Don't know a thing about it.
Okay. Second question is, just like to know what your opinion of Pat Buchanan is. I know he's very controversial.
Well, I think that Buchanan's very intelligent, and I think he's principled and committed to his principles and is unwavering. And for that reason, I think deserves a lot of respect. He frightens a lot of people because he is unwavering. I was talking to some people last night. The people in our society today who are considered the enlightened, the intellectual, the intelligent, the reasonable, are people who never make up their minds about anything. What do you think about that? Well, on the one hand, you have this, but I also understand this side of it. And then, of course, if this were to happen, I might go. And so you have people who refuse to state a principle. When you have somebody who comes along who states a principle and has opinions based upon the principle and doesn't back down from it, whoa, that's rigid, that's inflexible, why, we can't have that. And I think that's unfortunate. I admire Pat Buchanan. He's writing a book. The title of the book, It Wasn't My Fault, about Bush's defeat and this misnomer or this misconception that his speech at the convention caused the loss for the Republican Party. And I think he's right. I have a lot of respect for him. I don't agree with him about everything. A lot of foreign policy. He was against the Gulf War, for example. I was all for it, but he can give you reasons why he thinks what he thinks, and his reasons stem from his principles. Not that he's trying to please somebody or outrage somebody or whatever else. So I think he's honest. He's somebody who is a moral individual and has not buckled under these threats and this criticism and so forth. And for that, I admire him. Is that what you were looking for? The kind of answer you're looking for? Or do you
I just I was just curious what you thought of him, and I like your show a lot.
Thank you.
And dittos, and have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. Do you want to bet on sports? Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, I would like to. I did one time legally when I was in Nevada, but I just a hobby of mine. I like to watch sports, and but I wouldn't want to do it illegally. I know there's a lot of people who do that. But.
Oh, huge! Illegal betting is huge. Well, you'll have a chance at some spot if you want to fly to Las Vegas every Sunday and do it during the football season, Saturday and Sunday. Anyway, I'm glad you called. Thank you. Thanks very much. Buchanan is somebody who he keeps. He's a survivor. He keeps coming back, and he is accused of some of the most ridiculous things. And he has not, to his credit, changed his attitude or his opinions to mollify these critics, because you can't. The kind of criticism he gets, you can't change those people's minds anyway. Back with more in a minute.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, reading was one of the most difficult subjects for our son. It was a frustrating problem that even began to affect his self-esteem. Hooked on Phonics ended our struggle. The difference in his self-confidence is obvious to everyone, especially his teachers. Thanks to Hooked on Phonics, we now feel more confident as parents too. Signed, J.H. Emporia, Virginia. For Hooked on Phonics plus SRA Reading Laboratories, call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
Good afternoon at 2:30. It's 42 degrees. I'm Dory Roberts. 15 Northeast Elementary School students who licked or tasted air freshener crystals brought to school by another student were given activated charcoal at Wayne Memorial Hospital yesterday afternoon to drink to absorb the substance. An official said the crystals appeared to be candy and were shared with classmates in the 4th and 5th grades. Several children began to complain after lunch and were taken to the hospital by rescue. They said their legs hurt and their stomachs were beginning to hurt and they didn't feel well. Teachers then learned those students had tasted the substance that the other student brought to school. A school spokesperson said the crystals looked similar to rock crystal candy. They also said some students just tasted the crystals and decided they didn't like them, while others ate some. None of the children were seriously ill at any time. They did remain in the hospital for a while for observation. A search by the Goldsboro Wayne Drug Squad yesterday resulted in charges of simple possession of marijuana and possession of a weapon of mass destruction against 21-year-old Daniel Paley of Rosewood Road. An officer's report identified the weapon as a sawed-off shotgun. Crime Stoppers assisted in that arrest. Rewards are being offered by Goldsboro Wayne Crime Stoppers for information that will lead to arrests and break-ins at 2 Goldsboro homes. Property worth more than $3,500 was reported taken in those 2 entries. The home of Romeo Faison on BK Circle was broken into the night of January 24th, and the home of James Grimes on Pooh Street on January 27th. Anyone with information about these 2 break-ins, or any crime in Wayne County, is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 735-2255. The only cancellation WGBR Newsroom has received is a Princeton versus Midway game is canceled, and in basketball, all Johnston County school games are also canceled. It's time now for a look at our forecast from the Weather Center.
Well, there's a snow advisory and a winter weather advisory in effect for most of the region for later this afternoon and tonight into early in the day on Friday. Probably not going to see much in the way of precipitation, though, this afternoon. The sunshine will be fading behind increasing clouds. It could start to snow in the extreme western part of the region out near Siler City, Southern Pines, and Roxborough toward dark. Highs 36 to 42. Snow will overspread the entire region this evening. Now, we'll start to see a changeover to sleet and rain in the southern part of the region this evening, and eventually we'll see a changeover further north, even at Raleigh and Durham and Rocky Mount and Lewisburg, although it could be all snow in the extreme north at Roxborough, Henderson, and Roanoke Rapids throughout the storm. Tonight's low 30 to 34, and all that precipitation will be tapering off by midday tomorrow. In terms of accumulations, we expect 2 to 4 inches north of Raleigh, Wilson, and Williamston. Further south, accumulation should be about 1 to 2 inches before that changeover takes place. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 43 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show on WGBR.
And now, more of the most dangerous man in America. Rush Limbaugh.
Why do they call me the most dangerous man in America? Because I'm right. And it's more and more evident each day, and I'm having fun at the same time. Well, we just got great TV news. This is a day for 2 great bits of television news. First off, if you missed the beginning of the show, we have now gained an affiliate in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., WDCA Channel 20. We start there Monday. Also, this is the prestigious, important February sweeps period. The 3 crucial months in television, November, February, and May. It's when what are called the sweeps. It's where they take ratings of all the shows, and it is based on those 3 rating period results that advertising rates are set and all that. And we, ladies and gentlemen, just found out that for last week, we set another record for ourselves with an all-time high audience, a rating of 4.0. To put this in perspective, we started with a 2.5. A rating point equals 921,000 homes tuning in. And so for the purposes here of discussion, just figure that to be 1 million. It's 80,000 short of 1 million each point. So our 4.0 is not quite 4 million people, but it's real 4 million homes, but it's real close to that. Nightline has been the #1 show at night, late night, since and our show's not just late night anymore. I mean, I don't want to anger TV affiliates which play us in the daytime, because there are some who do. But most of the predominance of our slots, air slots, are at late night. So we still tabulate it in that way, and that's who we compare ourselves to. For example, though, in Los Angeles, I mean, we're up against Donahue in the afternoon. And Oprah, no, we're up against Oprah and Donahue and cartoons. We throw those out because it's kids, you know, punks, teeny boppers. And we're doing quite well there too. We're in the 4s in LA in the afternoon. So, and we just got great radio ratings news out there too. So that just continues to dominate out there. But Nightline is around a 5.2. And the Tonight Show, the number 2 show late night, is about a 4.6. The Letterman Show, about which everybody is going bonkers, is a 2.8 or a 2.9. The Arsenio Show this year is around a 2.9. The Whoopi Show is around a 1.8. There are others in there. And I mention those numbers not to be critical of those shows, but rather to give you a reference point to compare ours against them. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because you will not read this in the local media columns in your newspapers. And if you do read it, it'll be on the basis, gee, how stupid are the American people getting? They're actually watching this. So I just want to thank you. I mean, this is overwhelming stuff, and it's not just me. Of course, the television and radio shows both have staffs that work very hard to help all this come together. And I thank everybody who's involved, but primarily you, the listeners and the viewers, because it's just every day. I mean, it just continues to be an adult Christmas. So you have our undying thanks and our continued recognition of your role and importance in all this. Not only do you watch, but you admit it. And let me show what we've done. We've done it without writers. We've done it without guests. We've done it without a band. We've done it by violating all the so-called formula things that, you can't do it that way. And my whole life has been, you can't do it that way. And we've done it, and well, we're in the process of doing it. I mean, hell, we never look at anything as over. But we're in the process of disproving many of these theories. And we haven't done it with gay nuns on dope or castrated men who still fear the bicycle bar or women who want to date their grandchildren or any, kind of this silly, stupid... That's why I get so mad when people say, this show is not as constructive as we would like it to be. And then the same people will air this filth that goes on in the daytime, or the Amy Fisher story or whatever, and not think that they won't worry about whether or not that's constructive or not. So, and I understand people continue to call the stations in Dallas and Houston. That's up to you, but we thank you. Here is Tim in Washington, D.C., a cellular call. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program. Hello.
Hello, Rush. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Doggy drug dittos.
What's that?
Doggy drug dittos.
Doggy drug?
Yeah, I work in the greedy pharmaceutical business. And I sell doggy drugs.
That's right. Pharmaceuticals for animals, for pets.
Rush, real quick, I'd like to say hi, if I may, to all the folks that I work with that are so jealous that I got to talk to you. I'd just like to say, nah, 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 nah.
A man right after my own heart.
Rush, I've got a quick point for you, taking off on what you spoke about yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's think of a...
Well, wait a minute. There's a lot of things I spoke about yesterday. Which is
about the possibility of a female president in the future and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say that 4 years from now, Elizabeth Dole, perhaps, and this may be a far-off scenario, but gets the nod, is elected as a Republican candidate, and let's say that Bob Dole relinquishes his seat in the Senate, and he's nothing but the spouse of the president.
Right.
And then the president appoints him to head up economic policy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would be the cry from feminists across the country?
The hell with just feminists. What would be the cry of Democrats?
Well, absolutely.
You can't do that. Well, that's a conflict.
Okay.
But wait a minute, Bob Dole is a man of incredible experience and intelligence. He's a man who could bring a lot to this problem. It doesn't matter a hill of beans. It's a conflict of interest. He can't do it. You put him in charge of illiteracy or something, and that's it.
That's the thing there. They couldn't attack him on his credentials because he has the credentials. So what would they attack him on? Lack of accountability.
That's right. Brilliant analogy, and I love the analogous thinking. Love analogous thinking as a means of illustrating a point. That's very good. I also have this question.
Yes.
If Bill and Hillary get divorced during his term as president, who gets the House? You know, there's going to be there's going to be a huge battle.
That's right.
I'll tell you.
That's right. Rush, it's just been a pleasure to talk to you, and believe me, you've got an awful lot of fans out there, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks very much.
Great talking to you.
Charleston, South Carolina, and Susan. Hello.
Hi, Rush. I'm a flight attendant with one of the major airlines. And your comment a while ago when you were talking about the taxes in New York, about the airlines, when they want to make money, they lower their tickets.
No. It's not what I said.
I know. That's not exactly what you said. But I just wanted to tell you, when we lower the price on our tickets, we lose money like crazy. I just took a 5% pay cut because of all these stupid fares.
Yes, I understand this. I've talked to many in the airline industry who hate these low fares, and I know why you do. I know who's orchestrating many of these low fares. These airlines that are in bankruptcy.
Right, and it's not fair.
Yeah, I know it really isn't. It's unfair competition. Here are people who are exempted from paying their bills.
Right.
Because they're in Chapter 13 or 11, and they go ahead and set these price wars. I understand that, but what I was using the airline example for was as an illustration what they're trying to do. The people who lower fares or lower prices. Look, the airlines I use that because it's transportation, and so is a subway is transportation. But you can go to any store. Why is Sears in trouble? It's because Walmart and others have come along and are underselling them.
That's true.
It's you don't raise prices if you want more customers. You lower prices is the theory, and what you try to do is expand the volume.
Right, but see, that doesn't work in the airline industry. If we raise our prices, we get a better quality customer. We get the businessmen because they can't afford these. They can't get the reduced rates because they can't make their reservations so far in advance.
Right.
And these people who fill up our airplanes with these low-rate tickets, we lose money. We can have a whole airplane full of these low-fare tickets, and we lose money. And the customer doesn't understand that. We need an airplane full of businessmen like you.
Wait. What should the customer do, though? Should the customer come in and say, hey, look, I know you can't make money at this fare. Here's an additional $50. The customer is not. Yeah. I fly a lot, and I have.
I wish I had you on my flight.
Well, it'll happen someday. If you're in Charleston, South Carolina, you got to be U.S. Air.
No.
You probably won't tell me anyway. If
Delta. It's Delta.
You're Delta, a great airline, and I talk to flight attendants who, I guess, summertime when these low fares hit and the vacation fares, that's when your job really gets tough because there are people who aren't experienced getting on airplanes.
Right.
And some of the funny stories are what first-time flyers try to do on an airplane. Hey, can I open that window? At 30,000 feet. How do I hit the button? How do I open the window?
But let me ask you one more thing.
Yes.
The energy tax has me terrified that the fuel price is going to go up and we're going to go out of business. We're already in trouble.
One of the things that fascinates me with the airline industry is, and I've talked about this with a number of economists, but I haven't talked about it with airline executives. But the lament, I can read the financial pages every quarter. The majors are posting huge losses.
Right.
And I sit there and I say, how long can they do this?
Not much longer.
And still keep flying? What is it that keeps these people flying if they're losing hundreds of millions every quarter? And what it is the hope that lesser positioned airlines will go out of business and that the market will then be, that's what's going on. This is the survival of the fittest.
Yeah, but we don't have a fit anymore.
To the T.
They're all in trouble. Name one airline that's not in trouble. American. Not USA Airlines.
No.
That's your mind.
Door number 3.
That was 5 years ago too.